All right, poll question. I'm going to go right into racist topic. RACCISSS, the most racist show on planet Earth. Do fans and other WNBA players not like Caitlin Clark because she's a white girl? Smitty, go.
Race plays a little bit of a role in the conversation that we have around Caitlin Clark because she's a white woman dominating a predominantly black sport. So I will answer your question and say some people do hate on her because she's white. But for the most part, JB, they're hating on her because they're jealous of her. I said it from day one. They're jealous of the fact that a college superstar, some people call her the GOAT, will graduate from Iowa or whatever, leave Iowa, and a month later, she's the face of the WNBA during her rookie season. When you got stars like, Asia Wilson, who's on a back-to-back championship, back-to-back MVP season, who's been balling at the highest level and hasn't got the praise at all. You got people like her peers here, Angel Reese, who I like Angel Reese from Baltimore. She plays with that swagger. She talks shit. I get it. You from that area. I understand that.
Who'd you call pretty, though?
Huh?
Did you call Caitlin Clark pretty?
I ain't call nobody pretty.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Somebody in the chat said I was seeing what girl you called pretty. I was making sure.
I think that was your opening when you said it. I think they're catching up to you.
No, I said Angel Reese is prettier.
Better looking. Right. But I just think people just hating on Caitlin Clark because, she's getting all this attention. But my question for all the people hating on her is, what has Caitlin Clark herself done? What has Caitlin Clark said? What has she done in the media? Because every time I see Caitlin Clark speak, she does nothing but speak positivity. She speaks light into the league, speaks light into the players, and people just keep finding reasons to be upset with her. I saw the Dejanay Carrington, who they played each other last week, and Dejanay kind of locked Caitlin up on the court. But Caitlin had got asked about, people using her name for race conversations, and Caitlin's initial response was kind of like, listen, I don't really see that stuff. I'm not on social media too much. I kind of ignore it. And Dejanay goes on to Threads or Twitter and basically responds and says, silence is a privilege, basically. Basically saying that, you need to speak up on this stuff, and you being silent is, part of, your white privilege. And I'm like, hold on, she don't have to speak up on every single thing if she don't want to. All she wanted to do is go out there and hoop. She didn't ask for all this attention. She didn't ask to be the face of politics and race and there's all these other extracurricular conversations that y'all want to throw at her. She wants to go out here for the Indiana Fever and be the best player that she could possibly be and try to win games. The media and you other haters in the WNBA are trying to put out some unrealistic and unfair expectations on what Caitlin Clark is supposed to be, when at the end of the day, she is a basketball player. She ain't got to speak up about no race. She ain't got to speak about no politics. She ain't got to speak about none of that. All she's trying to do is grow the league, which she has done tremendously within 15 games of her career. Stop putting all this extra mess on her, and every single game is something, JB. And as a fan of hers, and obviously I'm from Indiana, it's pissing me off because at the end of the day, she just want to hoop. Let her hoop. I don't care if she's white, black, orange, blue, green, pink, or whatever. Let the girl go out there and hoop. I'm going to finish it again by asking all the haters this. What has Caitlin Clark done to garner this negative attention? And I'm done right now, JB. Jump in.
I'm going to be honest. I think she's a white, straight female, non-gay, non-fucking pronoun or whatever you want to use. And I think it's weighing on the mainstream media to address it so badly. They want to address it so badly every day that this little old white girl out here looking like whatever is killing the league, and they got to make up narratives. And I don't know if you've heard Stephen A. Smith or not, but I gotta ask you and get your take on this. Stephen A. Smith is going viral right now because of his take on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Take a listen.
There's a broader issue here that can't be escaped, and that is this. She is a white young lady, and she's been a magnet in a way that has benefited the league in ways that others have not even though their efforts have been worthy and deserving of being as celebrated, if not even more celebrated. And it's a reminder that no matter how far we believe that we have advanced as a society, there's still such a long way to go, because in the end, if you're white, you're bright, you're right, and as a result, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America.
Look at her. Did you see her eyes in her face, homie, when he said that? You muted. Smitty, you muted. You muted.
Damn, I ain't know I was muted.
Did you see her eyes?
I did see her face. I did see her face when he said that.
Society.
Look at the
There's still such a long way to go, because in the end, if you're white, you're bright, you're right, and as a result, the shine comes your way in the eyes of a lot of people in America.
So let me ask you something. We don't show too much. We'll get copyrighted. He goes on and compare it to Trump. I'm trying to figure this out, dog. So hold on. Is Luka not a white boy?
You white.
Luka pretty white. You imagine if you came out on mainstream media and said that about Luka or Joker or fucking any of these big-time white boy stars right now that's killing the league, specifically Joker and Luka. Let's just think about it. Why can you talk about this girl like that? Because it's not cared about or covered as much. If you said that about Luka or Joker, homie, this would be fucking, it already made big news, but it would be all over the fucking place. Why is it a double standard? I don't understand.
Well, because the NBA is already big as hell, and the faces of our league for so long, for the most part, has already been black, superstar players. So it's not like, I mean, Luka and Joker are continuing to pass the torch, so to speak, and or grab the torch and run with it, but they're not making the impact on the league that Keynan Clark is doing to the WNBA. So I think for them, it's like I said during my rant, like, for example, Aja Wilson, who's by far the best player in the WNBA. It's not even a conversation. She's hooping right now. She's on a streak right now of 20+ point games that's never been done before. 2-time champion, trying to do a three-peat. But at the end of the day, she's only grown the league, minutely, not because of her, nothing that she's lacking, just because it is what it is. It's all about narratives and storytelling and media, and they kind of control the hype around an athlete. And the media and us fans online created this hype, this big storyline, but because of, let's keep it real, because of Keynan Clark and Angel Reese's beef in college, and now that has thrown this big thing out. So I think you just can't compare the NBA and the WNBA with anything right now, because the NBA is so fucking far ahead that like they're past that. They're past like all that. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the fundamental problem I have is when Stephen A comes out and says this shit like this, he forgets who the highest paid players in the world are professionally. Let's just keep it real. You forget that 5 of the top 6 quarterbacks in the NFL are the highest paid players in the world are black.
Yeah.
Number one, you forget who Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and every other player that's the highest paid players in the NBA. Still to this day, Michael Jordan is the highest grossing NBA star, X or not. He's not even playing no more. He doesn't even do commercials. And his shoes are what? $250 million a quarter Michael Jordan makes. Why don't you at least keep it a buck and say, look, dog, we're really not. We got these cats that are making this money like this. Why are you singling out this one white girl? Nobody cares about white or black when you're a player anyway. Again, proving to me that Stephen A really wasn't a player. And Whitlock might have been correct when he called him out and found out he was fraud. Because if you were a real player, Smitty, let's just keep it 100. It wouldn't be this much talk about white or black. Let's just be real. This is a bait job. This is a troll bait job because you don't have any idea, Smitty, on what a locker room is like. And nobody cares.
But we're having 2 conversations, though.
Hold on, let me be real. Smitty, if you and I were playing and I met you and you met me on the court, I was only white boy. We was in Compton. We was hooping like I used to do when I was young. And if I was getting buckets or doing my thing, what was the narrative? Damn, white boy bad.
That white boy hooping, white boy cold.
And it was it wasn't a whole on drawn out fucking thing about race. It was just white boy cold because that ain't the norm.
But he's not talking about locker room though. He's talking about
the
narratives around it. And race is definitely a part of this, but it's a part of because the media has made it a part of it. I don't think it's a part of it because the locker room are making it a part of it. It's two
you didn't hear what I said, homie. I said he never's been in a locker room, and it's showing. He never played. Whitlock was right. If he really was a player and was in a locker room when he was a player, he would understand the vibe of a locker room, the camaraderie of the team. And it wouldn't be about race like it is all the time. He's proving to me he didn't play. Because, Smitty, my point was if you and I played, you and I wouldn't be we don't talk about race unless we're talking about somebody bringing up race. You and I don't give a fuck about what players what.
I know. I understand what you're saying completely. I don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that when Stephen A. brought up race in his take, I don't think he's bringing it up in the sense of that he thinks the locker room cares about it. I think he's speaking it on it because race is a factor in this from a storyline standpoint. Is what I'm saying. So I'm saying from at the end of the day, media kind of controls narratives. Media controls whether we love somebody, we hate somebody. Whether this person is going to be the face or it's not going to be the face. You need media to play that role in that storyline of who's going to be who's going to be what. And the media as totality has definitely used race as a way to pump up the story. You got white versus black. You got this girl who's playing in Iowa versus this girl who's in Louisiana who's from Baltimore. You got this that's definitely been stories and articles over the last couple of years of them doing it. Not so I think when Stephen A. is bringing that up, he's just bringing it up because it is a fact that is a role, at least on the outside, not from the locker room. I don't think he's saying the players within the locker room care that she's white. I agree with you on that. But the storyline on the outsiders care about it.
I'm not talking about. I didn't say nothing about the locker room. I said he's showing he didn't play, and he was never in a locker room as a player. I'm not giving a shit about the locker room right now. I'm talking about he's proving to everybody he did not play and was never in a real locker room environment as a player. Stephen A.
I hear you.
And it's coming out now, and it's proving that Whitlock may have been correct. Dog, you're a fraud. You didn't play. You didn't play. If you would have played, Smitty, his takes would be totally different. In my opinion, if you really played and was around a locker room of cats, your shit wouldn't be so narrative based on this, and this. I can't. I don't know. I mean, he been around sports regardless. He played. I mean, I think it's documented that he played. I mean, now Smitty, being around sports, this is how stupid we are. Stilly the boss wants to compare Stephen A. playing the sport to him being in the locker room with the Sixers. This is the problem, homie. We got ignorance.
I don't want to get in an argument of if he played or not, because at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's pretty documented that he played sports, rather than high school, and then maybe his college career was short, but he played sports. So I don't really. That's a whole other
You didn't play, Smitty. Let's just say you didn't play and you went straight into media. Are you telling me you're covering the fucking Sixers for a fucking playoff run and you understand the ins and outs of a fucking player and what happens every single day in that locker room with that band of brothers? You're telling me because you covered them as a fucking media member, Silly the Boss? You sound stupid as shit. Because I'm going to cover them. I know the ins and outs of being an athlete. Get the fuck out of here. You guys sound so fucking dumb. Holy shit, man. It's just proven to me, Smitty, that he didn't play. I'm just telling you, because if he did play, you would know there'd be a different, what's the word? You'd have a little more contrite. You'd have a little more contrite, though, for what motherfuckers go through as players, in my opinion. You'd have a little more contrite. You'd have a little more understanding that we didn't give a fuck. We didn't care about the coach being white or black. We didn't give a fuck about the players being white or black. If they was a baller, they was a baller. And I'm just telling you.
But JB, I don't think you keep every time I rebuttal you and I bring up locker room, you come back and say, I'm not talking about the locker room. But you're talking about how we as players how we felt within a locker room, within a team, you saying we didn't really care about race. We were all coming together, bringing our differences with us in order to accomplish a common goal, which is winning games. I'm agreeing with that. But what I'm saying is, in my opinion, when I listen to Stephen A's take on that particular clip, Darnell, I'm not reading that as if he's saying like there's some race issue within the locker rooms of the WNBA. I think he's saying that race plays a role in this whole narrative and conversation surrounding the popularity of Caitlin Clark because of the media has made that a conversation, and their advertisement and their Reese versus Clark, whether it was in college or it's WNBA, they're using that as a way to further push the lead because division causes interest. Division causes, volatility causes people to want to you either love or you hate. Either way you're watching. It increases ratings, it increases numbers. This has been going on for years in boxing, in early NBA, we had Magic versus Bird. Like, for whatever reason in America, the society likes these race type situations. Black versus white has always been used as a way to promote and advertise and market. So when he said that comment in his take, I think he's talking about that. He's not saying that the girls within the team or locker room care. That's why that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get what but I'm saying I think you got confused because it ain't even a locker room discussion. He came right out and just mentioned that. And my whole point was you could tell he's never been in a locker room. Him, Stephen A. You could tell he's never been in a locker room because he wouldn't say that. That's my whole point to this. But let's move on. It wasn't really an argument with you. I'm trying to figure out why it's always about this girl right now who's making – like, Smitty, be careful what you ask for because go ahead and take that Ice Cube offer. Go ahead and take that motherfucking Ice Cube offer and go over to the Big Three, girl. And let's see what happens to the WNBA. Let's see what happens. Be careful what y'all ask for. Now, we want to keep pushing her out. Go ahead. Because she hears it, Smitty. Whether she's listening or not, she hears it. And people bring it to her. And it's going to become bigger and bigger and bigger if you continue to do it. And I'm going to be honest. There's another part of this that ESPN's owned by Disney. Let's keep it funky. ESPN's owned by Disney. Disney pushes a lot of crazy, weird agendas when it comes to this whole LGBTQ thing. I'm just going to keep it real. The WNBA is very, very pushed that way. Let's just be real. It's a majority of the WNBA. Let's just say they're probably some sort of non-heterosexual. I'm just going to keep it right there. And I think Caitlin Clark's a heterosexual white girl, which is starting to cause discussion. It brings up discussion, which is like us in Colorado, Smitty.
I disagree completely.
It's like us in Colorado.
I disagree completely because just a couple years, Sabrina Ionescu, who is a hooper, who was competed with Steph in the three-point contest on the All-Star weekend, is a white, straight female woman who was a beast in college, just like Caitlin was a beast in college, broke all these records, did all this, and she's fine. There's no issues with her. Ain't nobody tripping, and the media ain't tripping. We ain't making a big storyline with her. She's literally white. She's straight. Great college career. Every single thing you can say about Caitlin, Sabrina has done the exact same thing, and we have no issues at all. So I've heard that narrative being thrown out there. I think that's cap. It ain't like every single girl is one way, every single girl is that way. It's hell of these women who out here with dudes. And I follow them and I see it and I know it. So I just think that's a reach, like a motherfucker.
You and D Jones are bringing up two motherfucking girls. You're bringing up girl that was married to
I'm bringing up an example though. You said Kayla Clark, who's
I said majority
straight woman. So I gave you an exact example of somebody who just got drafted a couple years before her, who's a white straight woman, who's an all-star, So I was giving you a direct correlation. It's not about that. It's a whole list of women who not lesbian or whatever you want to throw out, whatever option you want to throw out there. So I'm just saying, I think that's a reach to say that.
Well, let me see this though. Was that girl you just mentioned? I don't even know who you're talking
Sabrina
about.
Ionescu plays for Liberty.
Was she on the? Come on, we're only talking about this girl, Caitlin Clark, Smitty, because she's the most fucking popular face in WNBA history coming into the league. Like, Come on, man. Don't compare to some broad that nobody gives a fuck about and nobody knows. You guys keep pushing this narrative like nobody. Who gives a fuck about Sabrina whatever? This is the most popular human being to ever enter the WNBA. Why are you comparing her to a nobody? And I'm not saying a nobody in regard.
Because she's not. And a lot of people knew Sabrina because Kobe was mentoring her before he passed away. So Kobe was mentoring Sabrina. So she was actually pretty damn popular because of her connection with Kobe.
Let's be real.
She's got out like she's connected to Bean. So Sabrina was she's not Caitlin's status. Nobody's Caitlin's status. That's obvious. But at the same time, Sabrina ain't some just nobody knew about.
Listen.
She's in the NBA All-Star this week, this fucking year.
Listen. I want to retract. I don't mean nobody. What I'm saying is not a nobody as a player. I know she's a hooper. I'm saying she's a nobody compared to Caitlin Clark coming out of college on a scale of popularity, money, draw, etc. Caitlin's not even close. She's on a never spear.
Of course.
So my whole point is we're trying to go find diamonds in the rough to compare to a anomaly. Caitlin Clark is an anomaly. So she is being discussed at an all-time cliff when it comes to race, sex, whatever. No other girl's been talked about like this.
Right.
And just because she was a good baller out of school and she was Kobe's fucking friend and all that doesn't mean she was talked about like this. This girl is talked about at an all-time cliff. There's a reason why they're bringing her up, or we wouldn't even be talking about this girl right now. And it's a WNBA. I don't watch. You do. My boy Dave Bone last night, we got an argument. He watches, and he bets on them and everything. Kudos. But why is it men talking about these women? And I never hear women talking about these women. Women don't even support their goddamn selves. And we're over here defending why we should be talking about these women. But I don't hear no women talking about these women. And then there's women on, to Stephen A's defense, there's women on his show going at him, telling him he don't cover the women. Hold up, homie. You don't cover your own women, girl. Stephen A had no reason to cover you women. You were nobodies. You were irrelevant, an irrelevant sport. Smitty, the WNBA is $50 million in the hole right now with Caitlin Clark bringing in all this money.
And there's multiple factors that go into that, but I don't want to bore the fans with that. But
let you understand. All this money and shit that she's generating and the draw that she's bringing to Indiana and the WNBA arenas that she travels to.
It's the most
all this hoopla, and there's still going to be $50 million in debt. And the NBA, Smitty, has to cover that debt.
Well, a lot of that is because the NBA funds them, and they owe the NBA because of the funding. They owe some of these brand partners they have who brands have agreed to do like a rev share split. Hey, we will promote the WNBA. In return, you have to split this. So a lot of that debt, the reason why it's increased this year than other years is because of some of these agreements they have a brand, because of the chartered flights. They actually spent more money on marketing in order to hopefully make more money. Next year, their hopes or plans is to have a bigger, larger TV contract in which they can finally get in the black for the first time ever in the WNBA's history. Sometimes you got to spend money to make money, but that's neither here nor there. I hear what you're saying, JB. I'm not disagreeing with like a lot of what you're saying. Some stuff I do disagree with. At the end of the day, to answer your original question was, do I think race is a role in terms of why people dislike Caitlin Clark? I do think some people, I think that does play a little bit of a role because, again, people are always going to pick a side, especially in black community. You got people in the black community who's like, listen, we ride with Angel Reese no matter what. She looks like she looks like us. She talks like us. She's been around. She grew up like us. So people going to just vote and root for Angel Reese just because of that. You got some people, though, like myself, who at the end of the day, I love basketball, and I just want to root for who's the best and who I'm a fan of. And Caitlin Clark plays for my hometown team, and she's huge for the league like we've never seen before. So I'm voting for Caitlin Clark, and I personally don't give a fuck about race. I like Angel Reese too, but Caitlin Clark is a better player, so I'm a fan of her.
That's my point. I want to make sure the chat understands. A black man on this show, Big Smitty, is actually giving a fuck less about this white girl in the WNBA. I'm giving a fuck more about it than he is. Tells you that we are ex-players and we don't give a fuck what color you are. That is my whole point about Stephen A bringing this up all the time. And I'll be honest, why does it get so much attention, Smitty? Like, Why is this getting so much attention? I thought Caitlin Clark was saving the WNBA. She's not. She's not saving the WNBA, homie. We pushing this narrative on her. And I'm just telling you, dog, be careful what you ask for. I would be pushing her to go to the Big Three and say, you know what? Fuck them. Let them eat their words. I'm going to go to the Big Three. I'm going to take my $10 million from Ice Cube. I already got an endorsement deal. I'm already going to get that money. I'm going to go to Big Three and see how y'all do. Let's see how y'all do. Let's see how you guys finish it out. I'm on one of the worst teams in the WNBA, but I'm still the number one draw. And let me go ahead and bounce and let you guys handle it. Because
if I was her, I would go overseas with it. Fuck it. Just do that.
I'd go Big Three. I think Big Three is just a bigger draw. I think bigger.
Problem is, though, like her hooping against dudes, though, ain't going to really – that's not going to do nothing.
It ain't going to do nothing. That's why my whole thing. Like,
so that's why I said go overseas, hoop against your peers at least, and then you know, but we on the same page, though. We on the same page. Again,
think about it,
I don't want her to do that, but like my egotistical side, my prove a point side of me is like, all right, like you said, keep fucking around, and she get pissed and fed up, and she leave, and now what?
Smitty, look, you're putting all this on her. We'll move on right now, but you're putting all this on her shoulders. The race card bullshit side, and then you got the other side is I'm the savior of the WNBA. So this broad shoulders, homie, are getting shit's being dropped on both sides, and she's trying to like. So I'm dealing with this over here,
and she's still hooping.
And I'm taking she got to deal with this whole Angel Reese and the hate from all this old shit. Then you hear the media narratives, and then now you're the savior, and she's still the draw, and then she's like, well, fuck. What side do I, you know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, homie, that'll still bust you down.
Yeah.
And she's going to be like, all right, fuck you, motherfuckers. I don't know. I'm just telling you.
And she's still dropping 23, 8, 9, 7 for 11 shooting. Imagine when she can be more mature and stronger.
Hey, imagine, though.
Get used to all the noise.
Imagine this, though. Imagine she's the number one sell, number one draw in the WNBA. Imagine if she was bad, like a fine female. No, I'm serious. I'm not being honest. No offense to her. She's not the greatest looking female, in my opinion. If she was a bad one, if she was like an Angel Reese looker or whoever they want to, shit. She's not even a good looking woman, homie, and she's doing this. Imagine if she was fine.
You got somebody on the way in a couple years, though, who's more talented, better looking, taller, more athletic. I think Juju, once she gets to the WNBA, Caitlin at that point would have already kind of became who we think she's gonna become, and then Juju's gonna add on to it, and then you're gonna keep like I think WNBA is in a great spot. I'm gonna be real with you. All this talk we doing, the fact that we even arguing about be real, you would never, ever have a discussion about the WNBA ever on your show.
No.
The fact that we doing this right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
I'm saying that. Whether we
point is
good or bad, this is actually
go ahead and let her walk. Go ahead and let her walk.
And she ain't gonna walk though.
That's my whole point though.
She's not though. Like she loves this shit.
Let her walk.
She loves. Caitlin not soft. Caitlin was raised with boys. Caitlin was her dad. Like she ain't gonna walk at all. She loves this shit. She loves proving people wrong. This is gonna actually make Caitlin become greater, in my opinion.
Look, I root for it. Cool. I don't watch it. I'm not going to get into WNBA. It's a failing sport. It's a failing league, in my opinion. That's just what it is. It's a failing league. And the only reason we're talking about it is because she's a white girl. If she was a sister, nobody would care. If she was killing this league as a sister and the best player and the number one draw, nobody would care. It's probably, just be real, because she's white. Like, let's be real. It's an anomaly, Smitty. It's like me in Compton. It's like, oh, damn, JB from Compton? It's an anomaly. It's something new to discuss and talk about. Like, that's just to me. If it was just Angel Reese,
fuck, we don't have time. But that's
I know.
But that was my whole point of the Stephen A. Like that, like you just like no matter what we say, race is a part of it to that extent that you.
Well, race and not racism though.
Right.
Discussing about race is one thing.
Yeah.
Every single day, it's the topic is. When you start
using yourself was a perfect example. A white dude from Compton, like that's a fucking sell. I'm gonna be real with you. Like when people ask me like who you, I'm like, yeah, I was like Coach JB. He's last hand shoe. You know, he's different type of dude. White dude grew up in Compton. It's like, oh, it's like damn, okay. Because like you said, it's an anomaly. We're not used to that shit. So